What's up everybody? Welcome back to another video from my bathroom. This time I brought my camera along with. Today we are going to be creating a look that I low-key have created about 3 times now. I think this is my 3rd time. The first time I shot it and then I lost the card, or I lost the files I guess. Second time I forgot to transfer files, and here we are again. 3rd time is the charm. I'm excited for this. I straightened my hair and I was like, you know what, we're gonna do this video, okay? So today we are going to be doing the Princess Diaries. We are going to be breaking down the film itself while also creating the look that Paolo gives to Mia. So we're gonna try to do that. I mean, again, this film is a little bit older. Her look is a little bit basic, so we're just gonna try to kind of, you know, create a little something that looks similar and have some fun with it. So let's go ahead and get started. If you have any questions as to what I'm using, I'm going to list everything down in the description box down below so that you can use them or get something similar to it. But without further ado, let's jump into it. My first step is going to be priming my face. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Primer. So this particular movie was actually created by a woman. Her name was Meg Cabot, and she wrote this as like a book first off. And so she wrote it as a book, and then as she wrote it, her agent was very like, girl, this should be a movie. This should be a freaking movie. So before even releasing the book, they started pitching this book to film producers, essentially. Originally, the agent went to a producer by the name of, I think it was Deborah Chase, and basically told her like, hey, like I got this book, we should do something with it. And she was actually the producer for the Whitney Houston Cinderella film. And so she was like, hey, we should do this. And then, you know, just kind of worked her magic in that department. So she started essentially pitching it around and kind of trying their best basically to kind of get the word out as best as they kind of could. And so, yeah, when they started this whole process, you know, it was very hard for her. She made this book essentially and no one was really interested in it. And then she kind of gets, you know, the agent, and the agent kind of starts promoting it. And eventually it does get greenlit by Disney. And once it got greenlit, they thought it was kind of funny because, I guess she was at her job for such a long period of time and was getting a lot of just like, I guess not hate, but just like, oh dude, like you can't do nothing, like whatever. And as soon as she got the green light from Disney, she got a promotion, even though she like had struggled for so long. So this is a story that you hear a lot. So anyways, Disney says, okay, cool, this is good. We're gonna basically make this into a film. It was said that they bought the rights to this book for $4,000 from Meg, which I mean, I guess at the time was like an okay number, but to make it into a movie is kind of wild. And eventually, you know, word got out that maybe she got more than that. I don't really know, but essentially the earliest record that they had was that she sold the rights to the book to Disney for $4,000. Next part I did find to be kind of interesting too. So like I said, the agent was kind of going around and pitching it, and originally had pitched it to the group of producers essentially who did the Whitney Houston Cinderella film. And so Disney said yes, cool, all is good, and it ended up getting greenlit to start production in 1999 and was produced by that same team. And essentially when it got the green light, it got a green light under Whitney Houston's production company, which was a bit different from Cinderella, because Cinderella I don't think was produced by Whitney Houston's production company, but she was a part of like the production. That part I need to kind of take a look at. But essentially, she got the green light. They got the green light by Disney, and Disney had Whitney Houston's production company to do it. This was the Brown House Studios, if I'm not mistaken, is what it was called. And once they started production, it was Whitney Houston's first feature-length film that she was a part of. So I thought that was interesting too, because again, growing up, I loved the Cinderella movie that they had done, but I didn't realize that this was her first production company's full film that they produced. Originally, the film was set to be, I guess, set in New York, and it was going to be the Princess of Tribeca, but eventually they ended up changing it to San Francisco, so I thought that was an interesting fact. When it comes to the role of Mia, and Mia being who she was, it was originally kind of casted for a girl by the name of Juliette Lewis, and I guess originally she had said yes, but then eventually declined the offer, which then it went to who we know now to be Mia Thermopolis, Anne Hathaway. At the time of Anne Hathaway, I guess, applying for this gig, essentially, she had only had really one previous credit, and she was, I guess, on a TV show called Get Real. And in that time frame, she came to LA for a 26-hour layover before she went to New Zealand because she was working on another film called The Other Side of Heaven. So she was on a very short layover in LA and took the audition and went in and did her thing, pretty much. Apparently, it's been said that during her audition, she was so nervous that she actually fell out of her chair, which kind of made the casting directors love her even more because they were like, okay, she's hella clumsy. Yeah, I think she fits the role. It was said that a lot of other actresses were also offered this role, including people like Jessica Biel. They had Kirsten Dunst. They had Eva Mendes, Katie Holmes, Christina Applegate. They had a lot of people that they kind of were considering for this role, so it was very sweet to see that they ended up going with Miss Anne. The casting director's name was Marcia, and Marcia said that essentially when she first saw Anne Hathaway, it reminded her of Julia Roberts because she had worked with Julia Roberts on Pretty Woman, and so she really just liked her elegance and her just kind of overall class. So she just stuck out to her and they stuck with her. I keep saying Marcia and I keep saying the casting director. Marshall, who was the director, that's the director's last name. Sorry about that, I'm just kind of all over the place in here. But anyways, so Marshall really was trying to figure out at this point who he wanted to basically be the, what is it called? To play the role of Mia's grandmother. And immediately he was wanting Julie Andrews, and Julie Andrews was kind of retired at the time, so it was a bit hard to kind of get her. It was said that Julie Andrews was his first pick, and essentially Julie Andrews said yes, primarily because of his, I guess, involvement and him asking. I guess he was just, you know, well known and appreciated and liked, and she was just like, you know what, yeah, I guess I'll do this. I'll come out of my retirement for this film of yours, sir. So he got the green light from her, and basically the casting was there, you know? One of the other fun facts that I thought was while they were in production, it was the director Marshall's birthday, and he had none other than Whitney Houston sing him happy birthday. So I thought that was pretty funny and just cool. Like, who the hell can say, like, yeah, Whitney Houston, she sung me happy birthday on set. Pretty freaking rad. When it comes to the filming and the production, they had a $26 million budget for this film. Wild. And they started, I guess, making the film in September of 2000, and they finished in December of 2000. The film was filmed on the second sound stage in Disney's headquarters, or Disney Studios in LA. The fun fact is that since they were filming it on the second sound stage, it actually was named after Julie Andrews. It was called Julie Andrews Soundstage because that was where they also had filmed Mary Poppins. So there was a lot of cool little similarities that were kind of going on, especially with such an icon like her. So there were a lot of cool little things that were going on set, from Whitney Houston to just filming on the same soundstage. I just thought that was super sweet. Also, Marshall, the director, ended up renting the same house that Julie Andrews was in while filming Mary Poppins, so he had a lot of good karma, I would say, throughout the whole filming process. When it comes to the picture of Mia's late father that you see in the film, that actually was Anne's actual dad, who was alive. When it comes to Mia's cat, Fat Louie was portrayed by her actual cat as well as 3 other additional cats. I guess just because they needed them for different scenes. Maybe one wasn't acting right. You know, cats can be hit or miss, so I thought that was kind of cute too. When it comes to unscripted moments, there is a moment where I guess they're eating dinner and a guy's arm sets on fire. Apparently, it was said that that was a part of the scene, and they had an ice bucket next to him to just kind of douse it. But during the filming, Anne freaked out and was like, oh my god, she just freaked out during filming, being like, what the heck, this dude is having his arm on fire and it's persisting. So she doused it with the glass of water, and they kept that in the film. Another one is when she fell in the bleachers. That was also unscripted, but they kept it in the film. Personally, I am a sucker for all things outfits, and so the costume designer was actually a guy by the name of Gary Jones. And it was basically a paradise for him to work on this film because there was just, you're working with icons, you've got a nice budget, and just, the vibe of the whole thing was great. So he was very happy to be a part of this film. He drew inspiration from Chanel, Bill Blass, and Christian Dior when picking out outfits for everybody. The tiara that Julie Andrews wears was actually had about $500,000 worth of diamonds on it. Fun fact. And it was loaned to the production by Harry Winston. Obviously, they were working with some pretty expensive things, and so at all times, if she was wearing a tiara or just something that was heavy with the jewels that was rented by, or I guess loaned by Harry Winston, it was said that they basically had to have a security guard with her at all times to just make sure that they were returned safely. Which honestly, I get it. Wearing $500,000 on your head sounds a little bit outrageous. Obviously, that wasn't the only tiara that she had. She had some additional tiaras that she wore throughout the film. And so, the additional tiaras that she wore and Anne were inducted into the Disney archives. The crowns and tiaras were both worn by the actresses were preserved in the Walt Disney Archives, into which they were inducted in 2016 to commemorate the film's 15th anniversary. The other fun fact is that Anne actually donned false eyebrows and a wig to make her character makeover more dramatic. The hairpiece, they named it the Beast, while her eyebrows were required about an hour to apply. Each strand of hair was glued to her brow individually, and at times Anne Hathaway was required to leave the set in full costume. The Princess Diaries premiered on June 29, 2001 at the El Capitan Theater. Disney postponed the release of The Other Side of Heaven, which Anne Hathaway had filmed before Princess Diaries, to allow the latter film to take precedence at the box office, feeling confident that The Princess Diaries would have a successful return. The film was released officially on August 3rd, 2001, becoming a surprise success and a sleeper hit. It earned more than $23.2 million during its opening weekend and completed in third place behind Rush Hour 2 and Planet of the Apes. The film ended up achieving the second highest opening earnings for a live-action G-rated film behind 101 Dalmatians, which was released in 1996, at $33.5 million. It got mixed reviews and had about 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. However, Hathaway's response was a high praise pretty much for the film. The film won the Young Artist Award for Best Family Feature in Comedy, and it received an Alma Award nomination, Outstanding Song in Motion Picture Soundtrack. The makeup artists were actually called Hallie Diamore and Leonard Engelma, and they were nominated for a Hollywood Makeup Artist and Hairstylist Guild Award for Best Contemporary Makeup for Feature. And this pretty much sums up the makeup look that we created today, inspired by Anne Hathaway in The Princess Diaries. Looking at it, I think we did a pretty good job from the one picture that I do see here. Again, screens can be different, so it might be a little bit different, but this is kind of the rendition that I have. All in all, it's a pretty simple look. It's a pretty cute look, really just for every day, and it was more fun for me to just kind of break down the film itself and understand the background of it and, just the ins and the outs of everything, of just how it was created, from the eyebrows to just the whole transformation to the casting and everyone being involved, the Whitney Houstons, just Julie Andrews and her soundstage. To me, this was a film that was way more surprising than I thought it would be. And all in all, I loved it. The only thing I will say that I do not like, that I noticed growing up, this is my 2 cents, as a curly-haired girl, it was very much not nice for a curly-haired girl, because it did feel as though you're only pretty, or you're only recognized if you straighten your hair, which this is something that a lot of people will, say to this day when it comes to just hairstyles. Hair that is straight is usually more like attractive or, drawn to, and this film definitely reiterated that for sure. So as a kid, I remember being kind of like, oh, like, I'm like my curls, I want to look straight haired, you know? So it is what it is. I won't sit and complain on that too much because it is a very cute film. It is a very sweet film. But that was one tidbit that I had, that even straightening my hair today for this, I was like, man, this is messed up. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, I'll list everything down below. In the comments, let me know who we should do next. And thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you all in the next video. See ya.